took my car out of the snowbank. It's a 1982 Mercedes 300 CD coupe diesel. It does not have a turbo. It's a 5-cylinder OM 617 with a 4-speed automatic. And it's really, really rusty, so this will be like, I don't know, another few years and it might be the end of her. It's almost too rusty to drive the way it is. But I bought it for $1,000 last fall. And some people will say I'm wasting my money. They're probably right. But it sure is fun. The engine ticks over like it's brand new. There's 385,000 kilometers showing, but the speedometer doesn't work, so who knows? Like, I have no idea. Probably somewhere around 400,000. The car was originally in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, and then it ended up in Calgary for about 10 years, and now it's mine in Saskatchewan. I'm just gonna drive it around, drive it to work, back road it, do whatever. It's so rusty that it's not worth fixing. There's just nothing left of it, which is too bad, but I guess that's how it works. Rust never sleeps. She sure holds the road nice. It's an amazing car. I think I'm going to be have a new hobby collecting these now. They're sure fun. I want to get a /8, like the one version earlier than these. I'd really like to get a 240, a 200, or a 300. But I'm kind of holding out for a 240 diesel, of course. I was kind of thinking of using this engine and transmission to repower a half-ton, but that's an awful lot of work, and if you're not going to use that vehicle every day, it's kind of a wasted project, but I might still do that. Another thing I'd like to build someday is a rat rod, and this would be a really nice platform for a rat rod. Nice steering, engine, transmission, the rear end, everything. This has an independent rear suspension and rear axle like a Corvette. Like, it's just a gearbox in the middle and then CV axles like you'd find in a front wheel drive. So really rides nice. Seems to be working. I bought this last fall in October and I haven't really driven it yet. I just drove it home and, you know, around the yard because it was almost winter and I was busy. Now that it's spring, I've got lots of time to play. It's a lot of fun. I replaced both fuel filters last fall. The small plastic one by the fuel pump, and then of course the spin-on one up top. And the clear plastic one, you can see the fuel through it, and the color is really dark red, like I don't know, like a really strawberry red, well, darker than that color. I originally thought it was just dyed farm fuel, but I think what happened is the guy before me, or somebody at some point, threw probably a gallon of transmission fluid in, you know, to lubricate the injector pump. A lot of backyard mechanics and older guys like to do that sort of thing. I guess it's not really going to hurt anything on an engine like this, but I was wondering what that was. I think I figured it out today when I was looking at that, so, because there's no way the fuel would be that dark red. It's been sitting since October 20th, or thereabouts. I put the battery, I'm using the battery from my Volkswagen Jetta that I sold a few years ago, and I just threw the battery in. It didn't even pump up the fuel pressure. I just cycled the glow plugs once, hit the key, and 4 cranks and it was running. So, in about 10 seconds to get oil pressure. But I think that's probably normal because, like, I don't think the oil would have been warmed up that much sitting outside all winter. Like, it hasn't really had a chance to warm up, so I'm not that worried. When I got it last fall, I spent probably half a day looking through everything. Yeah, these cars have a really complicated vacuum pump system that operates the vacuum advance for the high-speed idle. That's this knob here. And I believe the door locks and probably the heating and air conditioning system. I'm pretty sure that's operated by vacuum, and quite a few other things. There's just a rat's nest of vacuum lines under the hood. Like, somebody at some point has been playing around and poking at stuff and cutting lines, and I don't know what's what anymore. Kind of unplug one and see what happens, and plug it back in, and then unplug another one, and try and, like, I plugged everything back into where it looked like it should go, and it didn't run. It didn't want to do anything, so I don't know what's going on. I guess just keep playing. Heater seems to work. I thought the guy that I sold it from, or the guy that I bought it from, he said the heater didn't work, so I looked at the fuse panel, and right where the heater fuse goes, the plastic had kind of melted around the fuse, right, like around the wire, around the terminals. So at some point it must have been overheating, or maybe somebody had a really big fuse in there, or a circuit breaker. So I put the right size fuse in, and it seems to work. So I don't know what the problem was. And it actually, like, I've been driving for 20 minutes, and I've got the heat set on what I think is about 20 degrees, and it's really comfortable in here, and it, you know, like, it's 20 degrees in here, so that must be working. So I'm kind of surprised that that works. The power antenna is missing in action. Sunroof works. All the windows work except for the passenger window. It will work, but you kind of have to help it back up with your hand. And I don't know, she's pretty rough. Like, it's not really a nice car anymore. It's still a Mercedes, but she's in pretty rough shape, the little girl, which is too bad. Like, if this car was in mint shape, it would be worth $8,000 to $10,000, but the way it is right now, it isn't worth $500 really. Except to somebody like me, or probably like you if you're watching this. This road's really rough, and the suspension is it's a really nice suspension. It's not very rough in here at all. Sure made these things to last. Speedometer doesn't work. I thought it worked last fall, but maybe it never did. I think I'm right around 60 miles an hour, but hard to tell.